Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Ken from Merle. Hopefully I said that correctly because I'm terrible and I can't say words. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We're so stoked to talk to you. We're so hyped on Diorama. Your brand new album's just out a few weeks. And we're so excited to talk to you about this. It's been a record that was like on our radar over a year. Like, oh, this is a record. When this record, whatever it is, when it finally comes out, we're going to be really hype about it because we loved the last one quite a bit. It was like kind of us, took our breath away. So, congrats on this album. And, obviously now that it's been out, how do you feel about the reaction to it?
I mean, it's overwhelmingly positive because, as I said it before, but we kept doing what we wanted. Like on Joe, we kept experimenting, and this is not a second. It's not Joe again. It's a different album, and that has its holes, right? Like people loved the first album, and changing that is also a gamble in itself, right? But that's what we felt like, and it's quite a different album, I feel, in many aspects, but people love it even more, almost, so well, a lot of people do.
Right on, yeah. And Jord was such a big acclaimed record. We don't really look at everybody else in the world, but it's just you would have to be living under a rock to not know that everybody was talking about that record. And obviously you can't speak for everybody in the band, but did you feel a sense of pressure, like whatever we do next is we have to do it great, whatever it is, because just the hype of the last record is out there in the world?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the last month, till the recording part of the album, the drums, I was first in the studio. I mean, I was legit stressed, because there was so much pressure. You wanted this to just give your best, right? So you constant working on it, and the album up till it was a different recording process than we ever had. We used to write the album together in the studio with Nikolai, the main songwriter, laying down the tracks for most of it. And this time, with Corona and all, we had to do it different. And we're living in different places, so we met up a few times, and otherwise demos back and forth between him and me. Stressful process, for sure. But I mean, it also shows there's a lot of nerve on that record, and when we got in the studio, it wasn't finished, in a sense. So a lot of it has been taken, I can't remember the word for it. Randomized is not the correct word, but improvised, sort of.
Yeah, no worries. The last year and a half has been impossible for everybody, and and I'm sure the band had other plans beside making a record, like concerts, festivals, tours, and of course it goes without saying, I'm not sure about how things are in your country right now, but hopefully your family is okay, your friends are okay, the band is okay. Beside the personal and professional losses, we've all kind of lost a lot in the world, and I never want to forget that there's a kind of human part of this, which is like, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? Because like a lot of people are not okay after all this, and even still, they're not okay.
Yeah, people close to the band actually died at Corona, of Corona complications, and we had newborn children, and we were all very careful in that sense. And I mean, it's not a joke, So, but for us, it was, in certain sense, we lost a lot of concerts, but it also gave us the breathing room to really dig deep to create our next piece, Diorama.
Wonderful.
I hope,
take a negative. Safe. Yeah, we're trying. Take a negative and make it positive. And I know that live music is such an important part of you guys, and you're even just where you're from. Is it getting better now? We starting to get some hope now, or is it still kind of the same rocky?
No, I think a lot of people in Denmark has gotten vaccinated, and there's a lot of programs to make sure that people take their precautions, and it's rising again, as they say. But I try to focus on my job and making that safe for whoever there is, right? Making the changes I can do for the better.
There you go.
Everybody's doing that in the band.
There you go. That's good to hear. And so now back to the music. We will finally have this album, and it seemed like it was a very long time coming. And I think it did surprise. I think it surprised some people. It's really, like you said, it's different. It's not the same record again. It's definitely got some new flavors and some new things. And like the songwriting is really stellar here. Like you guys really, it seemed like you took a lot of time to craft and create these songs.
Yeah, Nikolai, the main songwriter again, really made some brilliant riffs, right? Because it was a toss between him and me, the instrumental part of it, and sometimes we just get like a track like Vestige, the lead of that song was just, yes, right there. You don't need to change anything about it, right? And then, but we changed the drums completely, right? So it got into that whole vibe of the song. So it's a collaboration with that, and Kim really poured his heart out. We had a lot of talks about if he could actually be that transparent of some of his struggles and traumas on the lyrical side of it. And it's a strong record. Everything on it, artwork, everything we really worked for, and I hope it shows.
Right on. When you guys are, and obviously, so he'll come in and send you music, and you'll put your part on it, or this part calls for this kind of drums, and this part calls for this. But it does seem like a very seamless record. It's not like, you know, some bands are, you know, blending genres and they don't work, and these do. I feel like music is just music. A good song will work as any kind of song, but like the way you guys put the music together with the sort of shoegaze and the black metal is fantastic. There are other bands that do it, but I don't think anybody does it quite like you.
No, and I can't put a finger on it, like how it works so well. I think it's down to Nikolai's ear for guitar melodies, right? And then sort of we don't try and hold back by. I mean, everybody says that, right? It sounds really pretentious, but it's like, oh, maybe we should blast in this part, right? Or just do like some indie rock beat in it, right? It's not like but would the metal people like that? Or would that offend like people of indie, you know? We just try and roll with it. And if it works for us, it works. We all love us have tons of different musical styles, all of the band going in many directions.
Nice. How did, just because we have never chatted before, I always, you know, you're one of the longest standing members of the band. How did you guys originally form? I know there's been lineup changes, but the main band has been as it is now for these two records and then some. So I wanted to ask, just sort of to dial it back to the beginning, how did the band form in the first place?
Me and Nikolai, founding members, we used to play in like this only shoegaze band, and we met up when I could hardly play drums and whatnot. And after that went its course, made much and sent us to nowhere, I think. Yeah, and then we just felt that we really worked well in songwriting, so we just kept doing it, and we have tons of demos that sound really odd and weird, and isn't really material in that sense, but it's just missing out a bit. And in 2014, I think we met Frederick, who joined the band. Actually, I met him through another side project because I wanted more metal, and we couldn't really get anything done, me and Nikolai. So it ended with him joining Ulf, and we had a bass. My cousin joined in on bass, and then we had Stefan, who's the singer on the first two EPs, joined the band, and we had something. Made EPs because we didn't feel like we had sort of the sound yet, so we made small EPs to like progress and see what can we do. And Kim joined Holger joined in 2016 after my cousin left the band, and then Kim joined in 16 or 17 and started working on York, and he really raised that part of the game a ton as well.
And would you say from the beginning of the band to now, obviously you've refined the sound, but I feel like you kind of always had this sound sort of in that like realm, like this is the direction we were kind of going in. Was there a chance it was going to go another way, more, one way or the other, or is it just like this is kind of the vision?
Well, I mean, I feel like whatever we did on this album, we hit it from the right of the point, right? It's like we can do more, out there melodies. We need a warmer tone of it. We needed more organic because the other one was kind of cold and big. This is more warm, still big, but much more tender and raw. I think on the next album, like in my head, I have like, we can do something way different, right? If we wanted to, and maybe we will. We are still, we haven't gotten that far with it. We're still resting a bit on Diorama.
As you should. And honestly, once you have done kind of two records like this where they're, you know, slightly divergent, even though it's the same sound, you can do anything you want to now because the fans are clearly going to come with you on this journey, whatever you guys choose to take as a path. So I think that's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Even though Diorama is not a concept record, I personally would love to hear this entire record performed live. I don't know if that's something you guys would be into at all, but I think it would be something, even though Jord is very beloved and it was like your first statement to the world, I feel like this is the record I would love to hear start to finish perform.
Yeah, we've done it with Jord, I think once. And Diorama would be an amazing album to do it, but it's also some of the, like the last track, Diorama, that would be a very special track to open with, and we would love to do it, but I think it would needs to be done right. It deserves that special attention, and I'm not saying we skip out on live shows and whatnot, but it really needs extra care if we're going to do it in that kind of way. But we have been thinking about it.
Maybe Roadburn or somebody will step up. We love Walter here, and Roadburn here at Goes Cold. Maybe Roadburn will get you guys to come out and do a special set there and do this album.
Well,
I'll whisper to the people I know who know Walter.
You'll just call Marco from Avocado Booking then.
Yes.
We'll set it up, right?
Let's do it. Avocado. In terms of playing live, what's kind of the plan right now? You guys have stuff booked for 2022, right?
We have a Euro tour. It's a small one from UK, Germany, and Netherlands in February. I cannot remember the dates exactly. I'm not that kind of calendar guy yet. And we are looking into getting shows in the UK. USA, States. We almost had one, but it slipped out. But we are definitely looking forward to it. We would love to play for the fans over there because we know it's a long way to Europe from the States.
Yeah, of course. We'd love to have you. I have flown from Copenhagen to the US. It is a 10-hour flight and a pain. Yeah. But we would love to have you here, of course. And it's very expensive for bands to come over. And on top of that, the pandemic and who knows what's going to change and what's allowed and the risks involved. I think people
different
don't understand.
States and whatnot.
Different states, Canada, Mexico, South America. These are all concerns. Like they're all different. Canada right now is very strict about letting people in and out again. So a lot of bands are saying we'll come back to Canada next time, which sucks for our Canadian friends and fans. But you know, obviously, selfishly, we'd love to have you back here. So I hope one of these things works and we get you here for a nice US tour. But there are a lot of risks involved, and I think the average fan doesn't appreciate. I know there's been a lot of like, why are the shows being booked if they're also going to get canceled again? And what I try to explain to people is if you don't hold the dates and plan the dates in the first place, you don't get them later, because right now it's just like the records. All these records are coming out because the whole industry is backed up because everybody kind of held back last year. And you had planned to put this record out now anyway, but just the deluge of tours and stuff, it's an embarrassment of riches, but it's also these complicating things. So I ask the fans to be patient with all the bands. Don't be mad at them. If it gets canceled, you'll come back.
Nobody's like, we don't want to play, right? Everybody want to play. Everybody want to show the art. There's so much passion and music, and like everybody's trying to do their best, you know.
Yeah, we're all in this together, man. We're all just trying to get out there and do our things. I just have a couple more questions for you as we wrap this up. And again, it's been wonderful to chat with you. Because we're getting to the end of the year, do you have any 2021 albums that you really love?
I would say Landloss made a Wildhund album. It's sort of an album I hear, and I think I wish I made that album, you know. That's super energetic. Everybody should listen to it if they like our songs. And I also heard The Armed. They made a weird ass album called Ultra Pop now, and it's everything but pop. But I love it. It's so weird. I think that's like from the top of my head. I would say Orville Peck as well, if somebody likes some weird ass music.
Nice. We like a lot of weird ass music here. And just kind of in a final question, if you could come up with a dream tour bill for you guys and another band to either open for you or for you to open for right now, who would you choose?
I would say Devin Townsend. He's a hero of mine, and he is weird enough that we could probably tour with him. And I would say Dimmu Borgir, just because I want to meet them. I would say that. I actually gave Devin Townsend a present once on stage. I gave him our first EP. I threw it up on stage to him and he opened it while he was playing. And I was like, "You're welcome."
Amazing, amazing. Devi is wonderful. He has a new record coming out in a couple of weeks, probably by the time this interview runs.
It's called something The Moth, right? Is it that one?
There's a few of them he's put out. Like he's created like 3-4 records in the last year. I think the new one is The Puzzle or A Puzzle. And then there's another one that's coming in early 2022. I can't even, I feel like that guy's language of music is different than all of us. And he's doing some other alien shit that I'm not aware of.
He needs a break, dude.
I hope so. He deserves one. He's the greatest. Thank you so much for this interview, Ken. It was really,
thanks for having me.
Really swell catching up with you. The band is Mo. Hopefully I said that right and not horribly wrong. Diorama is the album out now. And forgive my terrible pronunciations, but we do love the band. Thank you for hanging out with Ghost Cult. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.